upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh why can't I? Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh why can't I? Really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh why can't I? upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me. Where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops, that's where you'll find me.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this celebration of the life of Dawn. My name is Claire Belford, and I'm honoured to have been invited here today to officiate this service as we remember and farewell a very much loved and special woman. Everyone in attendance here today is linked in some way, and as we say our goodbyes to Dawn, we gather together to support her family. Dawn is represented today by her daughter Robin, Robin's husband Hai, and their children Godfrey and Teresa. Teresa's daughter Audrey is also here today. Dawn's nieces Pam and Brenda, who were extremely close with Dawn, are here along with their brother Bruce. Robin and her family would like to thank everyone for attending this service. They recognise and thank everyone who has reached out to offer their love and support. It is so very greatly appreciated. This service provides an opportunity for us to remember Dawn, the woman she was, and the wonderful contribution that she made to your lives. Today you will hear stories and tributes from her family, and we will celebrate Dawn's incredible strength, her resilience, her achievements, and her pioneering spirit. Dawn lived her life her way. She was strong-willed and determined, a woman who broke the rules of the time in which she lived so that she could live out her life in love and happiness. Dawn was a risk-taker. She would not be dictated to, and without even recognising it, she was a woman who helped to pave the way for the next generation of Australian women. She believed in full legal, educational and social rights and opportunities for women, equal to those of men. For a young professional woman living in the 21st century, this is both admirable and inspirational. Dawn was a family-orientated person. When she married Robin's father, John Evans, she became part of a large and loving family. John had a number of siblings, nieces and nephews, and they welcomed Dawn wholeheartedly. Dawn became an incredibly important member of the Evans family, providing support and assistance to anyone in the family who required it. Her home was a safe haven, a place of welcome. Today we gather to rejoice in Dawn's life. Today we give Dawn a loving and fitting farewell and assemble together to support one another. There are a number of people who could not attend this celebration today, and Dawn's son-in-law Hai will now pass on messages of condolences from friends and family in absentia.
Thank you, Claire. Welcome, everyone. First of all, on behalf of the family, I would like to extend a very warm thank you to all of you who are here. But there are also overwhelming support from friends and families who could not be here today. I'd like to mention in particular all of the friends in our working and theater group. Some of them could make it today and some could not. Acknowledge also the friends from my personal and Robin's friends as well. Colombo Plan students, ex-Colombo Plan. In fact, my wife Robin has become a darling of the Colombo Plan through her singing and friendship with many of you. And some of you are here today, and Robin and I would like to really thank you for being here. There are also the French side of the family, the côté français de la famille, and that includes Darling and Andre, who have to go to Nouméa for French election, Micheline and Raymond, who are traveling to Japan on their anniversary, Pascal Philippe and their mother Pamela Lacourage, who is a good friend of Dawn, and Danielle and Eric in Numia. I also like to acknowledge Dawn's one remaining brother, Uncle Robbie, who has advanced dementia and at the moment residing in a nursing home in Twitthead. We have also received many condolences and messages from our family in Vietnam, including Auntie Ian and her children, Trung and Kien, and their family, my brother Viet and his wife Nga and their children, and also messages from our family from the USA, from Auntie Hoa, my auntie, and her children, including Elvis Phương and all of the Pham sisters, Kim, Lan, and Xuân, to mention a few. So if I left out anyone, please forgive me. And now I would like to give back to Claire for the rest of the order of the service. Thank you.
This is the time when we hear the story of Dawn's life, and I would like to invite Robin to say a few words and to deliver Dawn's eulogy.
Thank you, everyone, once again for being here. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. I think we need to speak into the microphone, otherwise it's hard for people to hear you. When I am here today, I feel so grateful that this is an ending which I could have only dreamt of. And I feel so grateful that everything has turned out so well in Mum's life, and she's had this happy ending, a peaceful ending, and surrounded by so much love. And I have to thank my old teacher who's here today, Royce Levi. As he walked in, he said, "Your mother made you, and she's given you wings, and you can now fly. Go fly." And that would have really touched her, and that was the message that she always gave me, and hence the introduction song of Somewhere Over the Rainbow. So thank you very much for sharing that with me. So just a few words that I've got down here. Over the last months and years, caring for Mum, I was able to reflect on Mum, the person that she was and the life that she lived. Last week, I was also able to speak with my beautiful twin cousins, Pam and Brenda, who are here today. Put your hands up. There they are. They've always been there for me, and Mum knew them ever since they were in the womb of their mother, when she met her future sister-in-law, when she was only about 18 years old. So they go back, way back. And they knew her well during her younger days. And I would now like to share these reflections and precious memories with you as a tribute to Mum and to the spirit that lived in her and that will always live in me and all those who knew her. That's my gorgeous grandchild there. Hello, darling. Mum's grandmother, Josephine Etevenot, was a French woman whose parents came over from France in the ship Le Comte de Paris to settle in Akaroa, New Zealand, in 1840. She was the grand dame of the family in Melbourne, and according to Mum, she was the pride and joy of her Scottish husband. From her grandmother's side, Mum inherited the beauty, the glamour, the joie de vivre, the humour, and the distinctive sense of style in the way she dressed and decorated her home and her business. She was the stylist. Hi. She was the stylist and the face of hickory corsetry at the time when corsets were made from actual whale bones and fittings were both a science and an art. The photo that you see here today on her coffin appeared on huge billboards across Australia wherever she visited and hosted fashion shows for hickory. She would fit right in to the glamorous society of show and theatre business of her first husband, Jeff, who was manager of the famed Prince Edward Theatre in Sydney in the 1940s. How my father John also adored her. And on Sunday afternoons, the Evans clan would gather to share songs, poems, and to dance. And Brenda, who was one of her favourite nieces and who is here, still remembers her doing the splits and singing to my father, oh Johnny, how you could love, and how he always just never failed to enjoy it. And from the Scottish side of Mum's lineage, she no doubt inherited the strength, the stoicism, the humour, the loyalty to family and friends, and a practical, no-nonsense approach to life and business, and a fierce, independent spirit and love for autonomy. Strength and stoicism helped her through an overwhelming share of tragedies and misfortunes early in her life, including losing her oldest brother Garnet, who was shot down over Europe in the last days of the war, followed by the sudden death of her mother in 1948 when Mum was only 20, and then having her husband of only 2 years struck down with encephalitis and interned in the infamous hospital for the insane. All this within a 3-year period when she was barely 21 years old. It was like her life was over. But her resiliency and optimism helped her bounce back and to make a new start after each life-changing tragedy. With her first husband Jeff incarcerated and her young life in limbo due to the tyrannical divorce laws at the time forbidding her to remarry or to ever have children, Mum started to build a new life with my father by giving up her job and then changing her name by depot in order to make my birth appear legitimate. She was only legally able to marry my father when I was 12 years old, after Jeff died in 1966, and that was nearly 16 years after his incarceration. My father passed away at 72 years of age when Mum was only 54. And then, like a late blooming rose, 8 years later, at the age of 62, the irrepressible Dawn made a comeback to the matrimonial scene to marry Sydney Peirce, a lovely man who became a beloved stepfather and a friend, and a wonderful grandfather to Teresa and Godfrey. Mum spent 12 relatively happy years in their beautiful home in the Shire before Sid also passed away in 2001 when she was 74 years old. Mum was well known for her loyalty and generosity. She kept old friends for life and dearly loved all the Evans family, including her beloved sister-in-law Marjorie, whose children are here. And Brenda told me that Marjorie would say to them, "You can always depend on Dawn. If you ever want to pick me up, go visit Dawn. She was always there for the family in sickness and in health, or just to pass a Sunday afternoon in pleasant company." Extended family and friends, as Claire mentioned, were always welcomed. And I felt like she'd given me a sister when she took in my French cousin Micheline for a year, during which Micheline attended school with me in primary school at Rose Bay Public. I was also so grateful for the way she looked after Teresa while I was in hospital giving birth to Godfrey, and she was a generous grandmother paying for Teresa's piano lessons for many, many years. Mum felt very close to Hi's family. She often asked after Bin and Mai, and Bin and Mai are just sitting down the front here with their beautiful children, Elizabeth and Christopher. And I've also had condolences from Claire. I remember how happy she was to meet Hi's mother when Ba Noi and Auntie Phung's mother bravely made the long voyage from Vietnam to visit us in 1991. And Phung is here today too. And thank you very much, Phung. Where are you? There you are. Yes, my mother was very fond of your mum as well. So thank you for coming. Mum always prided herself in her capacity to be a kind manager to her staff and to run 2 small successful businesses on her own over 20 years. Shortly after I was born, my father and she opened up a delicatessen in Rose Bay North with Auntie Margie and Brenda and Pam and Brucey. And Brucey is here. Where's Bruce? Oh, there you are. And they all helped out in my parents' shop. And they can tell you a few memories, perhaps. And after 6 years, to satisfy my mother's love for fashion and style, my father turned the delicatessen into a ladies' fashion store, and he did the fit-out himself, and the store became famous in Rose Bay for its range of quality ladies' clothing, lingerie, and corsetry. And my girlfriends would later tell me how they love visiting, and I still remember the smell of the wools and the silks, and how beautifully she decorated the shop for each new season. But more importantly, and what stood out in my memory, was that Mum was a fiercely independent spirit and thinker. And in the 1950s, before she had me, she was here she is as a teenager and a young woman in her 20s up until she was nearly 30. She was a vegetarian, a strict teetotaler, and a non-smoker, and even took a correspondence course in psychology. At this time, when any one of those things would be considered antisocial or un-Australian. Independent to the end was she. At 70, she bought a little place at Airlie Beach and would go up there for the winter months until she could no longer manage it. But I never felt closer to Mum than when she finally agreed to move into Farrer Brown at the Anglican Retirement Village, just 5 minutes from our home in Cherrybrook. In spite of her declining health, during those years, she was more peaceful and content and more open to receiving love and support than she had ever been in her entire life. How she loved coming back to our home in Cherrybrook just to sit in the garden, which she adored, and to listen to our 2 little canaries, Smarty and Rosie, sing their songs. Even when the midst of forgetfulness began to descend and the thicken around her, she was still right there with me in love, in stoic acceptance, and in mindful awareness of our moments together in time. Each time when I visited her, I would hold her hand and sing to her, and she would smile and give me the gift of her presence and wordless love and thanks. Oh, I wish I could give her a cuddle too. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your listening.
Thank you so much, Robin, for those beautiful stories and reflections, anecdotes about your mother. So while we are saddened by Dawn's passing and while we grieve, we can also take comfort in the knowledge that those that we love are never truly gone. They live on in our hearts and in our minds. So let us now pause for a few moments to remember the happy time spent with Dawn, the impact that she had on your lives, and the gift given to all of us by her presence. During this time, please enjoy the beautiful slideshow of photographs put together by Robin and all of Dawn's family.
color memories of the way we were. Scattered pictures of the smiles we've left behind, smiles we gave to one another for the way we were. Can it be that it was all so simple then, or has time rewritten every line? If we had the chance to do it all again, tell me, would we? Could we? Memories may be beautiful, and yet what's too painful to remember, we simply choose to forget. So it's the laughter we will remember. Whenever we remember the way we were.
It was so beautiful. I know you put a lot of effort into that, so thank you. That was really beautiful to see. Dawn's family have taken comfort in the memories that they cherish and the good times spent with her. So Teresa and Godfrey and also her nieces Pam and Brenda have each prepared a reading which they'd like to share with us.
On Death by Khalil Gibran. You would know the secret of death, but how shall you find it unless you seek it in the heart of life? The owl whose night-bound eyes are blind unto the day cannot unveil the mystery of light. If you would indeed behold the spirit of death, open your heart wide unto the body of life. For life and death are one, even as the river and the sea are one. In the depth of your hopes and desires lies your silent knowledge of the beyond. And like seeds dreaming beneath the snow, your heart dreams of spring. Trust the dreams, for in them is hidden the gate to eternity. Your fear of death is but the trembling of the shepherd when he stands before the king, whose hand is to be laid upon him in honour. Is the shepherd not joyful beneath his trembling, that he shall wear the mark of the king? Yet is he not more mindful of his trembling? For what is it to die but to stand naked in the wind and to melt into the sun? And what is it to cease breathing but to free the breath from its restless tides, that it may rise and expand and seek God unencumbered? Only when you drink from the river of silence shall you indeed sing. And when you have reached the mountain top, then you shall begin to climb. And when the earth shall claim your limbs, then shall you truly dance.
I'll be reading a poem called The Soul of Man by Helen Steiner Rice. Every man has a deep heart need that cannot be filled with doctrine or creed. For the soul of man knows nothing more than just that he is longing for a heaven that is safe and sure, a fortress where he feels secure, an island in this sea of strife, away from all the storms of life. O God of love who sees us all, you are so great, we are so small. Hear man's universal prayer, crying to you in despair, save my soul and grant me peace. Let my restless murmurings cease. God of love, forgive, forgive. Teach me how to truly live. Ask me not my race or creed, just take me in my hour of need. And let me know you love me too, and that I am a part of you. And someday may man realise that all the earth, the seas, the skies belong to God who made us all, the rich, the poor, the great, the small. And in the Father's holy sight, no man is yellow, black or white. And peace on earth cannot be found until we meet on common ground. And every man becomes a brother who worships God and loves each other.
This is by Merritt Malloy. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother, walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give to them what you need to give to me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds.
Look for me in the people that I have known or loved, and if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not on your mind. You can love me most by letting hands touch hands, by letting bodies touch bodies, and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away.
I'd just like to have a final word of thank you to all of you, and especially Pam and Brenda and Peter, who have been there while Mum has been sick over these past nearly 10 years, 8, 9 years, 10 years. And they've always been there for me. Doesn't matter what time of day. If I've been worried about Mum, she's been sick. So thank you so much. And thank you, all of you, for all your support and understanding over the years while she's been ill. Thank you.
Sadly, we have come to the time to say goodbye. But rather than saying goodbye, let us say farewell to Dawn and thank you for touching our lives and bringing them joy. Dawn will live on in her children, grandchildren, and little Audrey, who has surely inherited her bright blue eyes. Thank you everyone for being here today to celebrate Dawn's life and honour her memory with this service. May you take comfort in your memories of Dawn and always think of her with a smile.
Goodbye to you, my trusted friend. We've known each other since we were 9 or 10. Together we climbed hills and trees, learned of love and ABCs, skinned our hearts and skinned our knees. Goodbye, my friend, it's hard to die when all the birds are singing in the sky. Now that the spring is in the air, pretty girls are everywhere. Think of me and I'll be there. We had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun, but the hills that we climbed were just seasons out of time. Goodbye, Papa, please pray for me. I was the black sheep of the family. You tried to teach me right from wrong. Too much wine and too much song. Wonder how I got along. Goodbye, Papa, it's hard to die when all the birds are singing in the sky. Now that the spring is in the air, little children everywhere. When you'll see them, I'll be there. We had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun, but the wine and the song, like the seasons, have all gone. Goodbye, Michelle, my little one. You gave me love and helped me find the sun. And every time that I was down, you would always come around and get my feet back on the ground. Goodbye, Michelle, it's hard to die when all the birds are singing in the sky. Now that the spring is in the air, with the flowers everywhere, I wish that we could both be there. All our lives we had fun, we had seasons in the sun, but the stars we could reach were just starfish on the beach. We had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun, but the hills